Hi to all the changers out there. I'm Katrin from Coinchange, and welcome to our AMA, Ask Me Anything. These AMAs are an opportunity to connect with our growing community with the real people behind Coinchange. Both our team and our user base has been growing fast, and we want to make sure that we're building a community together. We've got some great questions sent in from our community, so thank you to those who have sent some in. And on today's AMA, we have the perfect person to answer them all. Coinchange CEO, Max Galash. Hi, Max.
Hi, guys. Good to see you all.
Welcome. So we've got some questions sent in. The first one that I want to ask is, when will Bitcoin be available for yield?
It's the perfect time for the question because it's available for yield today. So we just launched our Bitcoin and Ether high yield account. Best in the industry with the lowest risk and the highest APY. You can earn on your holdings up to 6% on Bitcoin and 7% on Ether. Yeah, we were testing it for about a month with a volume of about 50, 70 Bitcoins at different times. And right now it's released. And we just introduced it to 120,000 registered clients. Seems like the demand is picking up. We haven't really checked any of the numbers, but as for today in the morning, there's some good deposits coming our way. So hope the changers are going to support the change, taking the Wall Street to the Main Street and getting good yield at the lowest risk.
Fantastic. And talking about change, how is Coinchange responding to the changing regulations?
We're a very dynamic business. I mean, very transparent and very horizontal. So one part of our culture is be nimble, and reflect, do mistakes, and learn. I think in this kind of industry that we're in, crypto and specifically DeFi, it's a very nascent space. So there's a lot of unknowns, there's a lot of variables, and there's a lot of things that are changing on a daily basis that we have to take into account. So regulation is one of it. I don't think there's a license right now out there to give you for DeFi yield farming, right? Aggregation on layer 2 protocols. So the best you can do is to mitigate your risk and work with the lawyers and regulators, show what you have under the hood, explain what kind of control processes you have in the business, explain what kind of process and assets you're holding, who are behind the business, and what kind of security and controls you adhere to. So in our case, let's say from the day one, we registered with FinTrack and FinCEN. So to report any suspicious transactions and be compliant with the anti-money laundering global standards. We're using best-in-class tools like Chainalysis, Jumio, KYC 2020, and many others, right, to make sure that we get rid of the bad actors on the platform and don't allow any illicit activities. I think it's more also about the disclosures. We show all the risks, we describe everything that can happen to the assets, everything that can happen to the accounts. There's also an agreements in place in terms of use. So we take all the precautions. We have a risk team in place also who's analyzing and minimizing and mitigating not only the technology risk, right, that we're exposed to, but also the internal risk. Right, so making sure that there is no access that's given to a certain employee who's not supposed to have an access. And at the core of the principles, we used Fireblocks at the very beginning. So it's an MPC technology. Pretty much no one has access to the keys or the wallets. They're all distributed among the blockchain. So Fireblocks is best in class. They just raised $550 million yesterday. So we've been their client for 2 years, and we have a great support from their team, and been growing with them since then.
Fantastic. One of the questions that also came through is, I can yield farm on my own. Why should I use Coinchange?
Kat, to your point earlier as well, I mean, we did apply right now for the MTL licenses. So MTL is money transmission license for 32 states. The very first day of our business, we sent out letters of authorization, so meaning that our legal counsel from Washington drafted the legal opinion on our business and sent it out to the state regulators on a state-by-state level, right, to the banking committees and financial committees of those regulators. So we've heard back from a few, and we don't service all the states. You can go to the help center to find the states we service, but we're not able to operate in every state right now. So let's say state like Florida and New York and Texas are currently not open for the business. But majority of the states, I think it's about 28, 30 states that we can operate, either taking the USD dollars in the system or taking crypto as deposits. So to the question of yield farming on your own, for sure, I mean, there's a lot of the do-yourself guys out there, right? So crypto native people who are familiar and use MetaMask and participate in different pools, lend their assets through Aave, provide liquidity to Uniswap. But the beauty of our system that is, first of all, it's based on data. It's not based on feelings or emotions or any external factors. We have strategies that are not trading strategies. We don't do any trading. We don't do any arbitrage. We don't do any counterparty lending. Our business, as for the foundation of our business, is a cross-chain liquidity provisioning. So we have connectivity to 4 blockchains right now: Polygon, Binance, Terra, and Ether. So then we're connected to layer 2 protocols, meaning like Uniswap, Compound, Aave, Curve, right? We have 20 of those. And we have a data layer that analyzes the best yield, so the best payouts for the liquidity that we can get across those protocols and blockchains. So the strategy with the orchestration decides where the liquidity should be, right? And this way we can dynamically reallocate automatically the liquidity to a better opportunity. Secondly, if there's any abnormalities in the data in a certain pool, we can pull out the liquidity, right? Because we're always in control of our assets. That's a big benefit to the lending or trading when you use Nexo or some other competitors. You don't really see through or know what happens. They lend it to the traders and prop trading desks and exchanges. So there's consistent market risk, indirectly market risk through the counterparty, right? The centralized like Nexo Celsius. In our case, it's fully based on the yield aggregation across multiple protocols. So your liquidity is spread out across right now 20 protocols. So if one of them is going to get hacked, we still have 19. So 120, also pretty much 5% of the AUM can be affected, let's say, right? So the risk is spread out, and there's certain foolproof risk mitigation embedded techniques that we use. So let's say we can say that there's not more than 10% of your AUM goes into the Ethereum blockchain, right? Out of the Ethereum blockchain, not more than 10% goes to Uniswap. Uniswap exists on Ethereum chain. So our risk department put that limitations. So the AUM is spread out. And then we also choose the pools we participate very carefully. So we also do a certain analysis to make sure that the pool we provide liquidity to is, let's say, have liquidity of $100 million. Let's have 2 years of history. Let's say has another liquidity providers in place. But saying all that, I mean, the premise of that our lowest yield is the highest yield we can find on the protocols we're connected to. Right, and the beauty of this system and the underlying architecture, I think we can touch upon on the different AMA sessions with our DeFi team. But the idea is that you can combine different tools within different protocols to maximize the yield. So today we generate 20% yield on stable coins, and there is no one on the market who can match that at the lowest possible risk. Same for the Bitcoin, we generate up to 5.5%, 6%.
Wow, sounds like some pretty impressive reasons on why everybody should be using Coinchange. Here's a really basic question, but we've got to ask it. Is there a hole before I can withdraw my money?
So again, if we compare it to some other lending services out there that can impose certain obligations on the clients, like lockups or the minimums, our mission and the culture and the desire is to enable a regular person to have an access to a high yielding revenue, like a high yielding passive income, right? So there are opportunities out there that are now taken advantage of on the Wall Street, right? All those smart people with a lot of money making more money. So we want to make sure that we take Wall Street to the main street and allow regular customers to participate. So in that premise, we have no minimums, we have no lockups, we have no obligations. So you can register, you can try it with $1, you can try it with $1 million. You can hold it for a day, you can hold it for a year. So there's no obligations.
Fantastic. That's a really good answer. And I guess looking forward to the future, one of the questions asked was, when is Coinchange coming to New Jersey?
So we are in process right now, as I've mentioned, of receiving our MTL applications. So New York has its own bit license application. It's a way more complicated process than a regular MTL license, let's say for a state of North Carolina. New Jersey is also not an easy state. for us to penetrate in terms of the regulatory oversight. So we're talking to the regulator there. We're still awaiting the response for our letters of authorization. So there's no really defined timelines because we're not in the control of their deliverables and their schedules, right? So we're doing our best on our side. Our legal team is following up consistently, continuously, and providing any insights that they need to know about our business to allow us to operate. So as of today, New Jersey is not available. Hopefully, and we're anticipating to receive full 32 MTL licenses by probably May. But we'll keep our clients up to date. As soon as we get anything, we'll have a certain campaign, obviously, let them know that the opportunity is available.
Perfect. Well, that does it for today's AMA. These will be a regular thing on our social and YouTube, so be sure to tweet any of your questions to @Coinchange.io or email us at ama@Coinchange.io. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.